They come home and something in their hay is half a degree cooler than yesterday's. No one else on earth would have caught it. You caught it before they put their keys down. And now the evening has a weather system. You're replaying the morning for something you might have heard. You're reading their face over dinner like a report you've been handed. They appear fine, the feeling isn't. If you've ever wondered why you notice these things, why the person you love most gets the most finely tuned version of your attention, whether you want them to or not, you're not doing anything wrong. There's a system underneath this. It has a job, and today we're going to understand how it works. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not too much. Your nervous system may be doing exactly what it learned to do long before this relationship began. I'm Dr Narelle Duncan, a clinical psychologist drawing on 30 years of helping people understand themselves. This is Steady and Connected. Each episode I'll bring you the science, the tools and the clarity to understand what may be happening when anxiety shows up in love and what you might do with that understanding. Let's get steady and connected. Today, we're going underneath the behaviours, the checking, the reassurance, the rereading, to the things that set them all off, the radar, the constant background reading of tone, face and silence that decides, before you've had a single conscious thought, whether this moment is safe. There's a reason yours is tuned the way it's tuned, and a reason it points hardest at the person you love most. Let's name it plainly. Underneath your awareness, your nervous system runs a continuous safety check on your surroundings, and especially on the people in them. It reads faces, tone of voice, posture, pace of reply, quality of silence, and it files each reading into a category, safe or something's off. The word for this is neuroception. Perception you didn't decide to do. It was described by the researcher Stephen Porges, and the key thing about it is this: it happens before thought. You don't notice their tone and then decide to feel uneasy. The unease arrives first, fully formed, and your thinking mind gets handed the result, then scrambles to explain it. This is why the feeling can be so hard to argue with. People might commonly say, "You're reading too much into it." And you can absolutely believe that, agree with it completely, and still feel the tightening in your chest. The reading wasn't done by the part of you that reasons. It was done by a much older system, one that has kept humans alive for a very long time, by noticing quickly when something in the environment shifted. So, the radar isn't a malfunction, and having a sensitive one isn't a character flaw. It's standard human equipment tuned in you to a particular sensitivity, your partner, and the tuning has a history. So, how might a finely tuned radar show up day to day? I'll offer some of its forms. Notice what lands and notice what doesn't. The tone catch. You register a half a degree shift in their voice that nobody else would hear, and you registered it before you knew you were listening. The face read, a glance at their expression when they look up from the phone, scanning for the temperature of the moment. You may not remember deciding to look. The silence meter. A quiet evening reads as data. Comfortable silence and worrying silence can feel like different rooms, and you can't always tell which one you're in. The reply speed, the background uneasiness held all afternoon of how long it's been. The room scan. In any gathering, some part of you knows where they are and how they seem. And the aftermath. When the radar pings, your body answers before you do. The chest tightening, the stomach drop, attention narrowing to a point. Then the mind arrives with its stories, trying to explain a feeling it didn't create. If several of those feel familiar, that's information, not a verdict. A sensitive radar is not a fault, it's a setting. And settings have origins. Here's the mechanism in two parts: why the radar gets sensitive and why it points hardest at the person you love. First, the tuning. A radar calibrates on the environment it grows up in. If care, warmth, or attention were reliable when you were young, the system could afford a relaxed setting. Most signals filed as safe, no need to monitor. If they were less predictable, warm sometimes, distant sometimes, for reasons a child couldn't see, then reading the small signals early became genuinely useful. Catching the shift in a parent's mood before it arrived in the room was a skill worth having. So the system practiced it and got good at it and kept the setting. That's worth sitting with for a moment. The sensitivity you might resent in yourself was once intelligence. You learned to read rooms early, long before anyone taught you what to do with what you noticed. Second, the pointing. Why them? Why does the person you love most get the most watchful version of you, when strangers can get almost none of it? Because the radar's job was never people in general. It watches wherever the stakes live. The more a connection matters, the more the system has to lose, and the more resources it assigns to monitoring it. The watchfulness isn't a sign something is necessarily wrong with the relationship. It's a measure of how much the relationship matters to your system. Care and vigilance in a tuned system arrives as a package. If you'd like a clearer picture of your own tuning, which attachment pattern your radar may be part of, the free quiz at steadyandconnected.com.au is a good place to start. It's for self-reflection, not a clinical assessment, and your results come to your inbox with a short email series that goes deeper on what they mean for you. Here's the part that can be hard to sit with. From the outside, a tuned radar can get called overthinking, oversensitive, dramatic. A partner can feel watched or feel they have to walk on eggshells in their own home or defend themselves with words that can sting. From the inside, it may not feel like you're choosing any of it, or that you consciously sat down and decided to monitor your partner's every move. The radar runs itself, and being told to simply stop is like being told to stop hearing. Then comes the second layer. You can start distrusting your own readings. Was that real or was that me? A person with a tuned radar lives with a hard question because sometimes the radar is right. Sometimes the tone really was cooler. You were built to catch true signals, and you often do. The difficulty was never that the radar detects, it's that it can't tell the difference between a cooler tone that means something's wrong between you or a cooler tone that just means they're tired. So, the work. And this is where the shame can start to lift. It's not to switch the radar off. You can't, and you wouldn't want to. It's the same equipment that makes you perceptive, attuned, quick to notice when someone you love needs something. The work is learning to hold the ping as a question rather than a verdict. Let's go back to that evening, the keys, the, hey, half a degree cooler, the alarm system. Walk it through gently, the ping, the radar catching a real tiny signal before thought. The body's answer, chest tightens, stomach drops, attention narrowing, arrived, not chosen. The story, the mind, handed a feeling, going looking for its cause, the morning replayed, the dinner table face read. The verdict, something's wrong between us, delivered by a system that, honestly, only ever had one data point, half a degree cooler. Now you can see it for what it might be, not proof that you're reading too much into everything and not proof that the relationship is necessarily in trouble. The radar doing its job with old settings and a mind doing its best with the readout it was handed. They may have just had a hard commute. The half a degree may have been about a spreadsheet. The radar can't know that. You, the whole of you, can learn to ask. Here's the part that opens a door. When the radar pings, it isn't asking you to investigate your partner. It's asking a much older question. Am I safe right now? And that question can be answered not by getting the reading right and not by extracting proof from them that nothing's wrong. It's answered in the body, in the present moment, where the alarm actually lives. A system that has been given a cue of present moment safety holds its readings more loosely. The ping still arrives. It just doesn't get to run the evening. This is the difference between reacting to the reading and responding to it. The reaction is the alarm firing, automatic, fast, blameless. The response is what becomes possible in the space after, once the body has been given even a small signal that right now, in this room, things are okay. You can't retune a radar by arguing with it. You retune it slowly by pairing its pings with experiences of turning towards safety again and again in small, unremarkable moments. So, here's the one thing for this episode, just one. The next time you feel the alarm system, the tone catch, the silence that starts to read as data, see if you can quietly name it, radar ping. 2 words said inside, not to dismiss the reading, just to notice that a reading has happened and that a reading is not yet a fact. And then, before deciding what the ping means, offer your body one small cue of steadiness, a longer breath out than in, feet on the floor. The out breath is the body's own settling signal. Nothing fancy, a gentle experiment with no right result. From there, you might still ask them about their day. You might let the moment pass. Either way, you are making the call, informed by the radar and no longer run by it. If you'd like a quiet companion for this, I've made you a 1-page guide called The Radar Map, 3 gentle prompts for getting to know your own tuning. It's at go.steadyandconnected.com.au/radar. Free and yours to keep. Next time, we visit the radar's night shift, the 3 a.m. rehearsal, when your mind runs conversations that haven't happened yet and a quiet bedroom somehow becomes the loudest room in the house. Why the worry chooses that hour and what those rehearsals are trying to do for you. If you've taken the free quiz at steadyandconnected.com.au, your results already point toward the moments your pattern works hardest. If you haven't, that's a good place to start. That's everything for this episode. If today resonated, follow Steady and Connected wherever you listen so the next episode lands automatically. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, share it with them. If you'd like to know which attachment pattern is most active for you, take the free 5-minute quiz at steadyandconnected.com.au. Your results come straight to your inbox, along with a short email series that goes deeper on what they mean for you. If today's conversation has brought up anything you need support with, please reach out. Lifeline is available 24/7 on 13 11 14. And if you're ready to explore this work more personally, I offer individual telehealth sessions at getlifedirection.com. I'm Dr Narelle Duncan, clinical psychologist. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.